Wholesaling houses using realtors. Can you wholesale houses that are listed on MLS? Hey, this is Ty AK, the Flip Man. I thought I had a video on this particular topic, and I do. It's a couple of years old, which you can go back and probably find it, but the video quality compared to, I guess, what I'm trying to do now, it's so different in audio quality. But plus, I like to update things over time because they change. You know, the business changes in the sense of I learn more techniques to do deals without using your cash or credit, and I'll share those here through my videos. So again, someone asked a question the other day, and I couldn't remember or not if I actually had a video on that particular topic or not. And so I did some search this morning and I saw it. I said, oh, I do have something. I was pretty sure, and I think I recently did a flippinor on the same thing and was explaining that within whatever the topic was, some of those techniques. But again, the actual question was asked, and I told them to do a search for my video. I don't know if they're found or not. So I decided to do a more current and accurate way of doing this, because this is one of the free ways that you can actually find deals if you know what you're doing and you have the resources of understanding what it takes to deal with a real estate agent, because it can be tricky, because you have to remember you have another person's interest in play here. So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe to my channel while you're here. Turn on the notifications so you can get updates on my new videos. Okay, so first things first on this, when it comes to dealing with real estate agents. All right, so I'm just going to go over some of the other ways to find deals, and then we'll get into, you know, why this video is being recorded and created. Obviously, bandit signs, you know, these are the paid ways, I want to call them. Obviously, bandit signs, you know, I'm a huge believer in those just because of the number of eyeballs that you can attract and people you can reach. All right, direct mail, whether it's yellow letters, postcards, or the way I train my students to do just that. All right, the internet, and social media. You can do paid ads through Google, Facebook. You know, that's a different animal in itself. Hadn't talked a lot about it because a lot of that's still in a working process, even for me, to get it to work effectively and consistently. Now, some of the free ways is obviously people can search on Craigslist and Zillow for properties, but not in the way that you think, because properties that are already actively for sale with a listing, as far as Craigslist or Zillow, you have to have the right type of buyer. And I'll mention this when you're dealing with realtors also, but you're gonna have the right type of buyer in order to pull that off. So, but the way I train my students is don't go in the for sale section of Zillow and Craigslist. Target the for rent section, and just like whenever you're doing bandit signs or direct mail, one of the people that you're targeting through those forms of method are tired landlords, people that are tired of bad tenants, you know, fixing toilets, repairing properties, people tearing their houses up, people not paying them, and so on. Obviously, people are in it because you can make money, but some people get worn out of it. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of bad experience, and just worn out, and they've accomplished what they wanted to, or they're being sent out of the business because of what comes with it. So you target landlords through the for rent section of Craigslist and Zillow, but also through just riding around targeting, you know, the red and white for rent signs, or the black and white for rent signs, or for sale by owner, which that's another free way, just simply targeting for sale by owner, whether online or offline. Okay, so those are the actual free ways versus the paid ways. All right, so realtor, dealing with a real estate agent, I consider it as one of the free ways. if you have the right resources in place. Now you can do it and you're putting up earning some money or whatever, but the whole idea of my channel and the information that I put out here for the most part is being able to do deals without tying up any money in reality. You know, I say any money, and sometimes you may have to put up $10, $50, $100. Most people can come across that, you know, so, but I'm talking about in a lot of cases, no money, you know, of any significance. So normally with real estate agents, we just have to get in the mindset of an agent first. All right. Now, when you have the seller, you have the agent, you have you, then you have the buyer. Okay. So you have four people with four different interests there. All right. Obviously the seller wants what they want. The buyer wants what they want, you want what you want, but the realtor's not doing this for free. And if any of them tell you anything differently, their interest is always going to come first, just because that's just who we are as human beings, especially Americans. We are very capitalistic. We like eating, we like shopping, we like doing things for ourselves, family, and people we care about. So naturally your interest is going to come first. And the reason I even bring that up is that you have to understand that so that you can get realtors on your side of, if possible, in order for you to have a chance of getting your offer accepted, you know, that you present on the property. You know, it's different than the way you go about it when dealing with private sellers. Versus when you're dealing with real estate agents, is that a lot of times when I'm dealing with private sellers, I'm trying to get them to give me their least amount. Whereas with real estate agents, you know, you got to make an offer. You know, they're gonna have a price on it already, and you're just gonna have to make an offer in accordance to what you think you can get away with as far as price, and that makes sense, and that you can move forward and, you know, wholesale the property. So you have to understand that they have their interest at heart first. All right. Now that's I'm a professional. I'm always looking out for my client, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. It just normally just works out where it benefits everybody. But trust me, their mindset first. So, and so it comes down to, they just want to get paid just like you want to get paid. All right. That's what it all boils down to in most cases. Now, a lot of them have never heard of wholesaling. So, but if they think there's some money on the team, they will quickly want to learn it. Now, if you call them out the blue, tell them you're a wholesaler, about send me some private dollars, boy, they're not going to want to talk to you. You know, they're just not. Most of them just not going to have that foresight to even want to understand what you're trying to do, because you will be a volume play for them, but they'll make money from you over and over again. They just the way it is. I say, I'm not saying all, but most. Not saying all, but most. All right, so how do agents get paid? They get paid on commission based on the final sales price of a property normally. Okay, that can be 5%, 6%, it can be 10%, just whatever you negotiate. But generally speaking, 5 to 6%, you know, higher end houses, the percentage may decrease a little just because of the amount of the commission that will be at the end, you know, at the end of the transaction versus normal for a particular market. So with that being said, just some easy math here. Okay, so we'll just say 6% is the number, and the final sales price on the house was $100,000. So that means they'll make $6,000. All right. The issue with that is that most of the time, agent won't list the property and then also find a buyer for that property. That's the issue, not an issue, but that's the normal way that they get paid. So they have to split the commission. And if they're not the actual broker of whatever firm, then they're going to have to also split that with their broker also. All right. So that $6,000 could easily go down to $2,400, you know, or less, you know, just from, you're going to split it with the agent that brought the buyer to the table. So that's automatically split in half. That's $3,000. And then you may give your broker 20% of that $3,000, which would be another $600 if my math is right. So they, on a $100,000 transaction, they walk away with $2,400. Okay, so not a bad payday, but you know, yeah, if you got a couple of those going every week, it's great, you know. But a lot of the realtors, they're not that fortunate. But So you have to understand that how they get paid. So how you will maybe getting a little ahead of myself. Now I'm just remember that. I'll get back to that. All right. So understanding how they get paid on commission. All right. So now where to find listed properties. Now, a lot of people call me and say, man, I just met them, non-students or students will call me excited. I just met this agency. They say they'll send me some foreclosure properties, or they'll send me a list of properties, blah, blah, blah. I always just snicker, yeah, that was great when the internet started and when Realtors probably was heavy on it. That was great maybe about 15 years ago, maybe not as long, but they got this thing they call the internet. That's why you're watching me right now, is that any property that's listed on MLS is on the internet for the most part, in most markets. So it's not like they're sending you that's anything that's a secret. The way that other real agents know that a property is available is through MLS. So they automatically just list everything there, because a lot of their clients do their own research. Even though they may still have an agent, they may find their own house and just get the agent to handle the transaction for them. So they list their properties on sites like Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, and so on. So you have access to those same properties. Now, MLS may have a little bit more detailed information that what they call agent notes that they can read, but that won't factor in for you at the end of the day. Maybe a couple of things that you could use to your advantage, but it doesn't stop you from doing what we're about to talk about at all. All right, so Zillow, Realtor.com is where you'll find the property. So, all right, now a lot of people will say, well, do I need my own agent? No, not at all. Never use your own agent, in my opinion, when not for wholesaling, on something else maybe, but you want to deal directly with the listing agent. And the reason is, goes back to that commission thing that I just talked about. You want them to have an opportunity to keep 100% of the commission. All right, so back to some easy math here. All right. Assuming that on that $100,000, the commission was 6% again. All right. So the total commission on it would be $6,000, 6% $6,000 on $100,000. All right. So if another agent, as it normally happens, it doesn't always happen, but it normally happens, another agent provides the actual buyer, then that turns into $3,000. All right. So you may have a property and 60 grand may work for you. All right. So 6% of 60 grand is $3,600 versus $3,000 on a commission split on a $100,000 sale. They're actually making more money than they would have on the $100,000 trend in most cases. So a lot of times they don't recognize that immediately. Trust me, whenever someone makes an offer, the first thing that starts happening is that, how much is my commission, right? Okay, but if you submitted that offer of 60 grand to them and you had your own agent, so now your agent has to get paid also. So now that 6% on 60 grand is 3,600. They have to split that, and that turns into 1,800. Give their broker 20% of that, and now that turns into what is my math here? I think it's 1,340. If my math is correct, that turns into $1,340. So you can check my math. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. So that's why it's important to contact the listing agent once you're doing your searches on Zillow and Realtor. You're going to contact the listing agent, the agent that has the listing. Now, don't get caught up, especially on Zillow. They're going to have a lot of agents on there because they pay for those spaces, because they know our eyeballs are coming to those listings. Make sure and it identifies that it says listed by such and such. Normally it's at the very bottom of the page. You'll probably go through several agents before you get to the actual listing agent of that particular property. So be aware of that, so contacting the listing agent, that's part of the step. All right, now, so I'm going to go into this. We're going to making the offer. Okay. All right. So now you contacted the listing agent, and and you already know you've done your due diligence on the property. There's a process that I go through doing the due diligence. I just look to see when it last sold. I'll look at the county records to verify that, and see if there's some equity there. You know, that's what I'm looking for. If there's some equity there. If it just recently sold, or 2 or 3 years ago, or whatever, depending on the price. Doesn't matter that it was 2-3 years ago. Just depending, is there enough equity there? If it sold a year ago for $20,000 and it's worth $100, no matter what, then yeah, that's going to probably be some equity there. You know, even though they've spent 20 and they may want their money back, and they may have renovated, who knows, or just may be sitting there. But I'm just saying, you're just looking for them for equity. So in order to make the list for me to make an offer, but that's a whole nother video in itself. All right, so now. When you get ready to make the offer, you contact them via text, email. Normally, I'll just text them and ask them, you know, is 123 Main Street still available? Put my name. And they'll be like, yes, it is. And I'll be like, where can I email an offer? They'll follow up question. Well, are you a broker? No. You know, have you seen the property? No. Some of them be like, I don't do blind lists. Okay, that's a fool. You don't want to deal with them. Most of them are hungry, and they'll be like, yeah, you can email it to blah, blah, blah. So, a lot of you may want to follow up, because you could just do a short LOI. They're not normally accustomed to that on the residential side. So you'll ask them, say, well, if I make an offer, do you want to fill out the contract for me? That automatically lets them know, hey, this guy don't have a realtor. They already know that because you contact them and they ask the question, you were not a realtor. But they're saying, oh wow, he'll let me represent him. So some of them will be lazy and they won't want to do it. I say, well, how do you want me to submit the offer? You want me to just to send it in an email, or just what I'll pay and the terms that I'll pay under, or whatever? So it'll just go back and forth. So if they say, hey, well, just email me in the terms, I'll put the price that I want. Using that as an example, we'll just say $60,000, 14-day inspection, earn EMD of we'll just say $500 after 14-day inspection, and close in 7 days after that. All right, now, so basically the 20 to 21-day cycle we're dealing with here. All right, but if you paid attention to that 14-day inspection, I said I'll put the earnest money up after the inspection. All right, now what I do to even get them to even entertain accepting that, I'll send them proof of funds, you know, to do that. So normally it's not an issue at all. It's not. You'll have some that'll balk at it, but that's fine. It's just no different if they accept the price. If they don't accept your terms and your price, you may be a little flexible on your price to get the terms that you want, or whatever, because you're going to always offer a lot less than what you're probably willing to pay. You know, that's just normal negotiations. So now you're getting into the deal. If they accept your terms, obviously they accept the price that works for you. Now you're getting into that deal with no money down, because in that 14-day inspection period, that's when you're going to let your buyers know about your deal. All right, now we're on to buyers. Okay, assuming you get that offer accepted with your terms. All right, now you need the right type of buyer for these properties, because you're not going. Well, you could advertise it in the sense that you could advertise a similar property, and you let buyers know when they call about this property. You don't advertise with a picture or whatever that property. You may advertise a similar property, because the worst thing that you would want to happen is that you have it under contract and it rolls back around to that agent because they didn't take the listing down. Their contact information is still out there, blah, blah, blah. So the right type of buyer, in the mindset of what I'm trying to say, is they don't care that it's already listed. They know you created a great deal and they want it. They don't want you to show it to anyone else. All right, so because some buyers, because it was listed or is listed or pending, they're not going to be interested because they feel that's something they could have did. You're going to have people like that. So you got to have the right type of buyer. Sometimes that comes from have done some deals with some buyers, and you're pretty comfortable with them. Hey man, I got this property was listed, but I negotiated down to this price. I'll be like, boom, yeah, let's set up a time to go see it. Now, whenever you're making your offers and you get it accepted, now you could go about viewing the property one or two ways. You can go out and view it before You sign the contract. Probably that's normally what I'll do. If I know they're going to accept the terms, I'll go out and video it, sign it, and then I'll sign the contract. But the purpose of me videoing it is for me, number one, but also those right type of buyers. Everybody who do you know that doesn't have a smartphone? You upload to YouTube and you text them the link. They're like, yeah, I want that tie. You know what I'm saying? Boom. So, and you already have a buyer, but they'll still probably want to go see it, and you just set that up through the agent or whatever. But so that's the thing. So so you've gotten to the point, you made the offer, it's gotten accepted, you went out to video the property, you let the buyers know that you can work with, that are okay with properties that are listed, that are not going to go around you. So and again, you can't advertise it traditionally the way I normally, because I would normally go on Craigslist. Again, you probably want to do a dummy ad on that. All right. So of a similar property, similar neighborhood, and you just want to smoke out those potential buyers. When you talk to them, you'll let them know it's not available. But I do have a property that's actually listed. I have under contract that I can wholesale also. And you just wait on a response, see what they say. And they may say, I'm not interested in that. So that's boom. So, but yeah, what you got? What? So you just give them the numbers. You may not give them their address, but you say it's in the exact same area, so they know the price of the property is going to be similar, and you judge it from there. So I know that was a lot in this video. Just go back through it. But that's the whole scenario, dealing with real estate agents and understanding their mindset, and that you take advantage of it by giving them an opportunity of getting 100% on their commission. So throughout this video, you should have seen actual banners promoting my Flippinars, 200 videos, blah, blah, but please subscribe to the channel. You should see something there to show you how to do that. Make sure you turn on the notifications. But I finally did this video. Someone asked the other day, so hopefully this helps, and I'll see you on the flip side.